Here's the big theme park news to expect from next month's D23 Expo. In case you didn't know, the D23 Expo is the ultimate fan event that is run by Disney's Ultimate Fan Club, the organization known as D23. Basically, it's Disney's version of Comic-Con. And as a brief explainer, it is a bi-annual event that happens every other year since the year 2009. Now, there may be some confusion out there because another similar event called Destination D23 happens in the off years where D23 Expo does not happen. At both events, it's basically a huge sort of like convention where there's a bunch of different panels and pavilions where Disney makes major announcements, talks about the company, sometimes talks about animation, history, props, production, most importantly, theme parks. And it is at the D23 events where the big theme park news, attractions, rides, expansions, all of those are announced, and us Disney fans sort of feed on that in the years in between the events. Now, back at D23 Expo in 2022, Disney made some really big announcements coming to Animal Kingdom and also to the Magic Kingdom. So I'm just going to highlight some of those announcements here. And what I mean by that is they projected a blue sky development land beyond Frontierland over at the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World that may have had a Coco theme land, an Encanto theme land, and maybe a Villains theme land, maybe some Frozen stuff, we don't know. And then over at Animal Kingdom, big developments around Zootopia, potentially Moana, things that honestly, along with those earlier Magic Kingdom things that I mentioned, have yet to come to fruition. That left many fans, myself included, a little disappointed because after that, we didn't really know what announcements to take seriously with regards to theme park expansions. And there's sort of a lot of pressure on Disney right now because a lot of things they've been working on for the past few years, the big transformation of Epcot, adding Tron at the Magic Kingdom, Galaxy's Edge in 2019 at Hollywood Studios, those things are all sort of wrapping up. And so everyone can't help but look forward and think, hey, what's next? Additionally, Epic Universe, the third theme park at Universal Studios or Universal Orlando, opens next year. And if you want, I could talk all about those new lands coming to that theme park because they seem awesome, including a Harry Potter and a Super Mario themed land and a Monsters themed land called Dark Universe. But the heat is sort of on for Disney, not to compare the two because they're both entirely different companies and we can enjoy all of it. But there seems to be a little bit of extra pressure on the Disney company at next month's event. So last year at the D23, the Destination D23 event that's held in Orlando, again, this is different from the D23 Expo event held in Anaheim. Last year, they made a little bit of adjustments to some of the announcements from the 2022 event. Primarily that actually in Animal Kingdom, the Zootopia Moana things may not be happening, but there will be a Tropical Americas themed land that they kind of confirmed in an Instagram post earlier this year that's going to have potentially an Indiana Jones ride, and it looks like renderings of the Casa Madrigal in Encanto. So, first big thing at D23 Expo is what more information can we get about those lands, that land in Animal Kingdom, which will effectively replace Dinoland USA. What attractions are going to be there? Are there going to be any other rides or IP that's going to be expanded in that park? Or is it going to be just limited to Encanto and Indiana Jones? And will the Indiana Jones ride simply be a carbon copy of the pretty popular attraction over there at Disneyland in Anaheim? And the other thing, probably the most consequential, is what's happening beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Like I mentioned, the big Beyond Thunder Mountain concept was introduced at the D23 Expo event back in 2022. It's when they hinted at the Encanto themed land, a Coco themed land, maybe a Villains themed land. We now know that the Encanto land is going to go in Animal Kingdom. So with that land sort of out of the way, so to speak, at the Magic Kingdom, what else is going to happen? Are we going to get news about the expansion? Are we going to have dedicated lands? We just don't know. And if so, what are they going to be dedicated to? And also what makes things kind of interesting is that Inside Out 2 has been a massive success in the past few months. In fact, it just passed Inside Out 2 just passed Frozen 2 as the highest grossing animated film of all time. I would expect Disney to start investing even more in the Inside Out titles somewhere along the theme parks. At this rate, with the success being so recent, I don't know if they have enough time to announce that for the existing plans coming to the theme parks in Orlando or even Anaheim. And speaking of Anaheim briefly, in case you haven't been following, there's a Disneyland Forward project that was recently approved by the city of Anaheim. What we know so far is that there is going to be a really big expansion adjacent to the existing two theme parks, which are the Disneyland Resort and Disney California Adventure. Back in 2022, as I keep referring to, Disney announced that there is going to be a sort of Thanos-based multiverse type Avengers ride coming to Disney California Adventure. That has not come to fruition just yet, and we've had no other updates about it since then. And perhaps more exciting, at least for me, is there is going to be an Avatar-themed land coming to Disneyland or Disney California Adventure. We don't know where. We've seen one photo that looks like it's going to be a boat ride. Is it going to be similar to Flight of Passage over there at Animal Kingdom in Pandora, or is it going to be something based on Avatar 2, The Way of Water? We just don't know. So I would expect some sort of update about those two things. So in case you can't tell, it's sort of a mishmash between confirming things that were announced in 2022, kind of tweaked in 2023, and then on socials sort of discussed over this past year. So I think we can expect, big announcements for the Disneyland Forward expansion over in Anaheim. I think for Disney World, the most consequential things are going to be for the Beyond Frontierland and the Magic Kingdom, and then obviously the Tropical Americas themed land in Animal Kingdom, and they could surprise us with something else. I'm really excited and looking forward to hopefully news that is sort of unexpected and hopefully big, and something that is definitely uniquely Disney and not something that's sort of in response to Universal's Epic Universe. And if you're tuning in to D23 from afar like I will be doing, they will be live streaming some of the events. You will want to pay attention to the Horizons Disney Experiences Showcase, which is taking place on Saturday, August 10th. I believe it's at 7 p.m. and it will be hosted by Josh D'Amaro. So look forward to that event. And yeah, let me know what you're looking forward to from D23. I will be watching closely and updating you here and on my blog.